There's a lesson here, and what we're seeing is the collapse and failure of big old dumb top-down hierarchical government in Washington. This is factory-style government from another age. It can do big simple things, but it can't deal with the complexities of an adaptive modern society. And if Obamacare was an anomaly, that would be one thing. But tell me something that Washington is doing a good job at. Education, a disaster. Social Security, it's bankrupt, a Ponzi scheme. And you name something Washington is doing well, can't manage its fiscal
David
Axelrod made a point not long ago. He said, look, part of the problem of being president is that government's so vast you can't know what's going on underneath it. The Democrats' answer seems to be expand it. That's the wrong answer.
All right.
No.
Congressman, you described yourself as a new kind of Republican. Your voting record is one of the most conservative in the House. So I'm curious, do you have new views as in changed positions, or do you just have a new way of talking about the standard conservative agenda?
And what being a new Republican is about is making sure that we are for solutions, that we are for ideas, that we put possibilities before the American people to address the challenges that we face. Look, I think the people of this country are tired. We don't have a government that can solve problems anymore. We need a government that can do big things, big ideas.
Now that's a sea change, the difference between Washington and Wisconsin. You see, the folks in Washington like this top-down approach that's old and artificial and outdated, that says the government knows best. We believe that you should build the economy from the ground up. That's new and fresh and organic, and that's what we're going to do.
There are two ways to try and grow an economy. The old way, where government takes your money and tries to pretend it's smarter than you, and it spends your money for you. Well, we've seen that way fail time and again. And then there's the natural way to grow an economy, when you get to keep more of your own money and you can use it to control your own future and to help your family and your community. That is our basic philosophy.
Coming out of Washington, D.C. so often are solutions that they're outdated, they're top-down approach, outdated regulations, taxes, mandates that always fail to deliver on what it promises. We're advancing solutions that actually grow local economies from the bottom up, and will provide more good-paying jobs, put more opportunities for people. So in the next couple of weeks, we're really excited to be putting forward our jobs package, as well as energy bills that will lower the cost of gas and groceries all around this country. These are the real solutions that Americans want to see.
But I do think if we're going to beat Hillary Clinton in this next election, we've got to have a message that says Hillary Clinton is all about Washington. I think in many ways she was the big loser on Tuesday because she embodies everything that's wrong with Washington. We offer a fresh approach. Any of us, now 31 governors across the country, have the executive experience from outside of Washington to provide a much better alternative to the old, tired, top-down approach we see out of Washington, D.C. We need something fresh, organic, from the bottom up, and that's what you get in the states.
Last night, but obviously expanding Medicaid coverage, you'd have more people off of the uninsured rolls in Louisiana if you did it. Why aren't you doing it?
Chuck, look, Democrats and Republicans both want to help the vulnerable, want to help people get affordable, high-quality health care. Medicaid is not the right way to do it. The problem with expanding Medicaid, the problem with the Affordable Care Act, the problem with Obamacare is that it chooses a top-down, closed approach where the government is running your health care.
Why the president wants to keep doing things the old way. And what I mean by that is, when there's a problem, Washington, and this president in particular, they want to have a top-down, Washington knows best solution. They pick an agency here in Washington, and they say, that's the answer to this problem. And we've got a lot of alternatives, a whole host of them.
But most importantly, the very essence of our generation repulses a one-size-fits-all, top-down approach. No one has ever told millennials how to be consumers, communicators, or learners. This is a generation that has thrived upon a natural and organic engagement with the world around them. A government of the old industrial past simply does not fit with the innovators, entrepreneurs, and dreamers of today.
And part of the reason is so many of the programs that are well-intentioned here from Washington don't work. But there are better approaches. And the approaches I laid out today are approaches that take into account the fact that it's got to be bottom-up, not top-down. ensure that those programs are in fact tested, that we use evidence-based research to determine what's the best way to do it, and require results and performance.
If you believe that every parent ought to be able to choose their child's school, and that the economy should be driven from the bottom up, not the top down from Washington, then you're thinking like a New Republican.
NewRepublican.org. Join us. Do you think the best way to grow our economy is bottom up, naturally and organically? Not top down, politically and artificially from Washington? If you do, you're thinking like a Republican. Join us. NewRepublican.org is responsible for the content of this ad.
If you don't think the Republican Party should be the party of big government, big business, or big anything, you're thinking like a New Republican.
NewRepublican.org. Join us. Do you believe every parent should have equal opportunity to choose the best school for their child? If you do, you're thinking like a Republican. NewRepublican.org. Join us. NewRepublican.org is responsible for the content of this ad.